Hello guys, and today we're going to do some hand IK with our weapon. So as you can see, we have this weapon that we instantiated in our hand in the last video. And unless you have perfect animations, and these are pretty good, the animations aren't going to line up with your weapon. And by that I mean, unless the animations were made specifically for your weapon, they might not line up perfectly on where you want your hands to be on the weapon. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make your hands stick to specific points on your weapon. First, let's go to Package Manager here, and you're going to make sure you have Unity Registry checked. And then we're going to go to the search bar, and we're going to type in rigging. You're looking for the animation rigging package. There it is. Let's install that and give it a second. So this is going to basically allow you to focus the hands on specific points of the gun. For the pistol, we're just going to use the handle. Now let's go and click on our character here. And what you want to do is add a component down here. And it's going to be a rig builder component. Next, let's actually go to where we have the root of the skeleton, and in the same area as that, so the same place in the hierarchy, make a game object. I'm going to call it rig layer. This is what Unity recommends naming it in the asset documentation. Now, on the rig layer game object, I'm going to add a rig component, and I'm going to drag the rig layer into the rig layers section of the rig builder component. Now, under the rig layer game object, I'm going to create two empties. I'm going to call the first one right hand IK, and the second one left hand IK. And on each of these game objects, we're going to add a component called ToBone Constraint. Actually, ToBone IK Constraint. And you'll see there are three sections here, the root, mid, and tip. This will be the shoulder, elbow, and the hand. And this is basically going to manipulate those areas of the body during animations. So let's go down here and start off by taking the right shoulder, right elbow, and right hand and drag them in there. Okay. And then after that, let's do the same thing with the left shoulder, left elbow, and left hand. Let's drag that in there, the elbow, and now the hand. All right, cool. So moving along here, we're actually going to need a source object, as you can see, called a target, and that's going to be the point on our pistol, which we grip. That's on both of those little sections there. So let's actually go to the pistol item, and then click on the weapon Glock. That's the model that we instantiate. Let's open the prefab of this weapon. Now, I'm just going to put two empty game objects down here under the weapon transform. I'm going to call this right hand IK and left hand IK specifically again. And these are going to be the transforms we manipulate during the game time, so we can actually position our hands on the weapon. Okay, so now that looks good. We can go back out of there. Next, we're going to want to go to our character here, and let's actually go into the equipment manager in a second. Actually, first, I'm going to go back in here and check on this. Let's add a component to the right hand and left hand IK. I'm going to call the right hand IK right hand target. And let's add another script to the left hand IK. I'm going to call it left hand target. So we're adding two scripts here, right hand target and left hand target. There's going to be no logic in these scripts. We're just going to use these to actually fetch the transforms of these specific game objects from our animator manager and player equipment manager. So what we're going to do is just open up these scripts here, and just so we're not confused later down the line in the project, I'm just going to erase the start and update function and put a comment here. And I'm going to say this script is just a way to reference the IK transform. Because we're going to specifically look for the left hand and right hand IK transform locations, like where we want to grab our hands to when we load a weapon on our character. And this is just a really quick way and easy way to fetch those. So now that we have that done and our weapon is set up, let's go into the player equipment manager now. And let's do a couple things. All right, let's go to the animator manager first, actually, sorry. And we're going to say using Unity Engine animations.rigging. And again, this is under the animator manager script. Now, we're going to want to actually make two ToBone IK constraint variables, one for right hand IK and then one for the left hand IK. And this is going to reference, again, the left and right hand IK settings. Let's actually make those public as well, so we can drag them in the inspector. And we're going to reference them on another script as well, so they'll have to be public. Okay. Now we can actually drag those in from the character, and right hand right here and left hand right here. Okay, cool. So we have it all set up here now, so we can actually play with the settings in this. So let's make a function here called public void assigned hand IK. And this is just how we're going to assign our weapon's hand IK when we equip a weapon. Let's make a ToBone IK constraint right hand IK, a ToBone IK constraint left hand IK. And then we're going to make two of those variables we made just now, right hand IK target and left hand IK target. Those are the scripts we placed on the gun to reference the transform of where those IK targets will be. Okay, and then we're going to simply say, in this functionality here, right hand IK, and then it will be .data.target equals right target .transform. And then we'll say left hand IK .data.target is equal to left target .transform. Very simple, very straightforward. So this is just going to take the location of the left hand and right hand transforms and assign them to the right hand and left hand IK. And we save that now, and we actually have to call this function when we equip our weapon. So we do that in the player equipment manager. What we're going to do first, though, is come right down here under current equipment where we have weapon. I'm just going to make a private variable called right hand IK target. I'm going to call that right hand IK, and then I make left hand IK target and call that left hand IK. So we can actually get these every time we equip a weapon. So down here where we have load current weapon, we can simply say, we can reference our weapon loader slot here, and we can reference our model because we save the information. So we can say right hand IK is equal to weapon loader slot dot current weapon model dot get component in children right hand IK target. And then we can do the same thing for the left hand slots. We can say left hand IK is equal to weapon loader slot dot current weapon model dot get component in children left hand IK target. Okay, that looks good. Now, right below that, let's call upon the animator manager dot, and what did I just call that? Did I call it my sign? Yes, sign IK, hand IK. And we actually don't need, I don't know why I put those there, that was my bad. We don't need to reference the right hand and left hand 2-bone constraints, so let's just erase that. I forgot we literally just called them on the animator manager. I was thinking we're going to call them on the equipment manager, but it's way better here anyway. So let's go back here now and just pass the right hand and left hand IK target variables, which we just called right above. And that should be good to go. I think we have to do one more thing, which is build the rig. And we can do that just with one line of code. So let's go back over to the animator manager, and we want to say rig builder, which we don't have called up here. So we're going to make a variable of type rig builder. I'm just going to put that right down here. And on awake, we'll say rig builder equals get component rig builder. And then that will allow us to build the rig, which will basically just set the object of our hand IK and rebuild it around that object. Okay, and then down here we just do rig builder dot build, and we're good. So let's save that and go into game and try it out. Now if I hit play, you will see it looks like my guy's making a weird kung fu hand symbol here now, and the gun is kind of bent sideways. Let's just go to the scene view here, and we can just go down to the weapon itself. Make sure you go on the Glock itself. But first go onto the rig layer and go to the left hand IK and turn the weight to 0 so we can edit one hand at a time. Now on the right hand IK transform, let's go and mess with the rotation here until we get it facing where it should be facing. And that looks really good. I don't think I need to mess with the Z at all. No, okay, that looks good. So when you get it wherever you want it perfectly placed, what you want to do then is right click on the transform and copy component. Okay, so let's actually go right now on the right hand IK, right click here and copy component. And let's go to our pistol game object, which we instantiate. So click on our pistol weapon and click on the weapon that we have the model that instantiates. Open the prefab, and then you can paste the component values here on the right hand IK. Let's do the same thing for the left hand IK, but first we actually have to turn the left hand IK weight back to 1 so we can notice it actually making a difference. And then let's take our left hand here and we're going to play with the values. I'm not going to get it perfect right now because honestly you can spend a lot of time fidgeting with this to suit your needs. I'm just going to get it, try to put it below the right hand on below the pistol grip. So let's move it up a little bit here, rotate it like this. I'm going to need to move it back a little too, I believe. So, oh, that's way too much. You're going to be very light with the values here. Okay, back a bit. There we go. That looks really good, actually. Yeah, that looks nice. All right, so that's not perfect, but you get the gist or the idea of it. That looks pretty fine to me. Then you can right click the transform again up here, and you can copy it, and you can do the exact same thing that you did with the right hand transform. I'm just going to move this a tiny bit more up, like so. Okay, now let's copy component, open the weapon Glock again, and then paste the component values on the left hand. And basically, if we stop the game now, and then restart it, we'll actually restart the game holding the gun properly, because it saves to the prefab. And that is excellent. However, we have one small problem. When we walk, we do this, and your hand drags down. Now, in a much later part of the series, we're only going to call upon the hand IK when we're idle or when we're actually aiming our gun. So running will have its own animation and possibly its own IK. But for now, if you guys want to add on to your system a little bit, I'm just going to make a temporary fix for this until we actually get to the part where we do our weapon shooting and weapon aiming, which will be very soon. So we're going to go here to handle all movement input, and this is under the input manager. What we want to do is, not if movement input does not equal 0. We want to say if vertical movement input does not equal 0, or horizontal input movement does not equal 0. Then we're going to basically say animator manager dot right hand IK dot weight is going to equal 0. And then copy and paste that and do the same thing for the left hand. So it will be animator manager dot left hand IK dot weight equals 0. Then we're going to say else, and we're going to say the exact same thing, but we're going to replace the value 0 with 1. So basically this is just saying that if we are not moving, use hand IK, and if we are moving, do not use the hand IK. Like I said, this is temporary. In the future, we're going to set it up so the hand IK only activates when we aim or shoot. And as you can see, when we start walking around, now the hand IK stops. Now, in a perfect world where you have animations for moving with your gun, and there are packs out there, you won't even need to mess with the hand IK because your character will still hold the gun while running. But I'm going to try to tackle all angles here. So I'm going to set up an IK system in the future that will change depending on if we are aiming, shooting, or moving. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like, leave a comment. It does genuinely help the series get around, and then I can keep making more of these cool videos. And if you're feeling like a total champion, check out my Patreon below. Now, we'll see you guys in the next episode, where we're going to start to lay the foundation down for our aiming and shooting system.